If you're interested in getting your replays analyzed, please read my pinned comment below. Thank you and enjoy the video. Going for corner boost from kickoff is fine on the condition that you inform your mate that's where you're going. That way, your mate can redirect the ball into your path. However, since you and your duo mate are Diamond 2, I don't know if you'll be able to pull that off. If not, just cheat up with your mate on kickoffs. Not a bad attempt to dribble, maybe that could be something to work on. However, try not to force an attempt on net. Be aware of the opponent's challenge and cover the 50 properly. Okay, a couple of things here. You cutting rotation and trying to aerial for the ball wasn't necessarily bad if your mate had the awareness that you were going. But because this is Diamond, you don't need to do much to rank up. What I mean is, you can oftentimes play really simple and defensive and just bank on your opponents to overcommit and make mistakes. In this instance, you could have rotated behind your mate and just played it really simple and safe. I think that would have been best. You were first man. If you go back and take a look, you recovered quicker than your mate did, which means you're the first man. Knowing this, the moment you took boost, you needed to boost to close down the space. Also, if you have comms, just tell your mate you're going and take the initiative. Don't speed ahead of your mate like this. He was in front of you and heading towards the play. Yes, he was going slow, but just let him go. Why? Because he can't see you. So if you zoom in front of him like this, it could throw him off and both of you will be in the same position. You're giving your opponent way too much space here. Again, I'm not sure if it's too punishing in Diamond to give space, but it's just not a good habit to have. Here's an example of what you should have done instead. Here, we stick around just to apply pressure and this makes the opponent panic, which in turn gives us a free ball. Good save by mate. Rotating ball side for the first flip was fine because it looked like it was a potential free ball, but as you started to reach mid boost, you needed to rotate back post because your mate was coming out of net and challenging the ball. So far, I've noticed that your car awareness needs work. To fix this, go to casual 2s and play with one intention, to look at the cars only. Use your peripheral vision on the ball and fixate your vision on the cars only. And make sure to call out loud what the cars are going to do before they even do it. The more you train this, the easier it will become to read car pattern behaviors. It's a bad boom. If you can learn to hit the ball high and far consistently, you will rank out of Diamond pretty quickly. Again, as mentioned before, you got beat to the ball pretty badly due to lack of card awareness. The opponent was already up, but we were too fixated on the ball. I've already mentioned this, so I won't press on about it too much. No real need to flip here, just use your boost to get to supersonic speed whilst you drive through paths to regain 100 boost again. It's the most efficient way to get to the play without having to flip and potentially getting stuck in animation. Good shot. Your duo mate shouldn't have taken the ball off you here. I'm not sure why he did it, but you had clear possession of the ball and could have 50'd it. And then your mate could have followed up on the play. That was good tracking of the ball and a great shot. Awkward pass by mate, but you did well enough. Good pad grabs. You should jump and challenge this ball. As first man, your job is to start the initial challenge that begins to put pressure on the opponents. You do this when you know your mate is ready to follow up. Here, we know your mate is ready because we just saw him go behind you. This means we should aerial and play a 50 or something, just so your mate can follow it up. Fake challenging makes things really awkward for your mate because he doesn't know what you're going to do after. This is on your mate because he saw you in net and should have trusted that you would have saved it, but the whole situation could have been avoided based on my previous point. If you know you have time, which you should know because your mate hits the opponent away slightly, then you should take a wider approach to the ball, perhaps even to mid boost to give yourself a better angle on what it is that you wanted to do. Example. By taking a wider approach, it opens up greater angles, which increases the number of options you have. You don't have to go for this ball. Why? Firstly, in Diamond, it's not very likely that they will have accurate shots, so you can just track the ball on the ground and control it. And secondly, the second man cheated up, which means they won't have too much boost to go for it. With these 2 points, we know that going go for the ball wasn't the best decision. Should have stayed with the ball. The problem is that you rotate way too early, which means the opponent has possession and time on the ball. You almost never want the opponent to have both time and possession on the ball. The only time it's fine to do so is if both you and your mate plan to regroup by going back for boost. Try not to break hard like this. If you're afraid of a boom, then keep your wheels moving and turn away or around for a boom. But don't just break, as that just kills all of your momentum. Don't stay underneath the ball like this. By doing this, your mate doesn't know what your intentions are. It's clear that your mate wants to go and challenge, but you being stuck underneath makes him have to wait. If it's awkward, just flip out of there and let your mate, who will usually be in a less awkward position, deal with the ball instead. You mechanically messed up, but your mate cost you the goal. Always follow this rule. If you're second man, don't dive in for the ball until your mate gets back or has recovered. If you see your mate is in front of you and they don't have the ball or they miss the challenge, just chill until they get back. This is specific for Diamond. As you get high in the ranks, this rule can be broken. One thing I've noticed is that you drive faster than what you can control. Slow down a little bit. Here, you could have slowed down, brake a little, and even let the opponent hit it. The reality is that the opponent is very likely going to hit it against the wall, and it is likely to going to bounce off and you'll have a free ball. It's not all about driving fast and hitting the ball anywhere. Decent touch. On your mate for missing the ball here, but that happens. Should have done what I previously mentioned, which was to shadow and buy you time to get back, although going for the ball was also fine too. Great save despite how awkward it was. Needed to stick closer to mate instead of wandering off towards the corner. I understand that you probably thought mate was going to clear the ball to the corner, but you need to see that he has no boost and isn't likely to get a good clear on the ball. Example. By sticking close to mate, we can ensure that we can clear the ball. Great boom and shot. This is why I mentioned before that learning how to boom the ball high and far can be great to getting out of diamond. Okay, this isn't correct positioning. Whenever you see a mate that could potentially get a 50, you want to position for the 50, but at the same time cover your net. Here, you're kind of covering the 50, but you're awkwardly positioned to save a shot. This isn't easy and it's quite advanced to know how to position correctly to begin with. When your mate popped the ball high and was following the ball, we can see that he had no boost. This tells us that he isn't likely to get to the ball quick enough compared to the opponent. Once you identify this, you need to quickly get to your corner so you can swing around and cover net. Doing this covers the shot on net and covers if they hit the ball to your corner. I'll show you what I mean in this example. Here, we go behind mate to get ready for the 50. He misses unfortunately, but we are ready to shadow that shot. Another example of a potential high and far boom. If you did it with more power and height to the backboard, I believe the opponent would have whiffed and given you or your mate a free shot on net. Spend more time on shooting packs if you can. Good improv. You had more than enough time to see the opponent come at you to adjust for a better 50. This relates back to card awareness. Good challenge. Not a bad attempt. Try to learn to single jump 50 to prevent your 50s from being erratic. Example. By breaking a little and single jump 50ing, we are able to get a better 50. Car awareness again. I understand that maybe you had the better angle to shoot, but the principle is that you have to adapt and adjust to what you can see. You can see your mate, he can't see you. This means it's your responsibility to read his car behavior and see if he wants to shoot. Reading this behavior will prevent you from going for the ball. You're first man. You can't just stand still. You have to move and do something, like jump. Why? Because if you stand still, your mate gets confused and doesn't know what to do. This is what causes double commits. If you just go as first man, it makes life easier for the second man because he will know where and how to position if it gets past you. Okay, so final considerations. We have 3 points for you. Number one, probably the most important one so far, is your car awareness. I've already suggested to go to casuals and just focus on looking at the cars and predicting, well, reading what they are going to do next based on their car behavior. The next thing is going to be shooting. This is going to be something you'll be practicing all the way through until SSL. Shooting is probably the most important mechanic in the entire game. You want to always do shooting drills as often as you can. And number two is practicing to boom the ball as high and far as possible. The quicker you are able to master this, the easier it will be to get out of diamond. So if you work on those three things, I believe you'll get out of diamond pretty quickly.